just touched all of our hearts in a way that Gabby will live forever in all our hearts, and we all just want.
Good morning, everybody. This is the live stream from WFLA News.
We're looking here, but
the
two live
Laundrie home right
left
now.
Side of your screen is from Eagle 8 HD over the.
Let me know if you can hear the video.
Right now on the right side of your screen,
and I will jump in and out of the chat.
8 on your sides, Christine.
But I want you guys to listen in and see what's happening right now in real time.
What's next here, based on what we know?
Like I said, I'll jump in and out of the chat.
Of course, we've been
I'll let you guys listen in. Just let me know if you can hear it okay. And welcome to the stream, everybody. Let's see if we can get some new information this morning.
Parents there were.
I'll be right back.
Or had been, of course, what's the word I'm looking for? Excuse me. Escorted, thank you, from the scene here. And now the question is, what's next? Do we have any idea how long police are going to remain here on scene, and what's going to unfold here in the hours ahead?
Yeah, that's a great question, JB. So as I said before, this is an active and fluid situation. So things have been changing minute to minute. About an hour ago, there was nobody here on scene. We've been here since 3 o'clock this morning, and this has been very quiet. And then we heard that the wildlife reserve, just about 10 minutes away, that they would not be doing a search there. So many of us came back here, and we've just kind of been waiting here. And then about an hour ago is when 15 unmarked cars showed up. About a dozen FBI agents, along with Northport Police, got out of their cars and they taped off this area. We really don't know what's next. We know that there is a warrant, that they are inside investigating, and we could be out here another 5 minutes. We could be out here another 5 hours or 5 days. We just don't know the answer to that question right now. But we will keep everybody updated as we learn that.
I want to, one more time here, for everybody joining us here on WFLA Now, let you know that more your #HeyJB, #HeyWalt comments are coming up here. But Christine, before we let you go, I just want to bring up that one observation that you made in your live report here just moments ago.
Good morning, Scott. Welcome to the stream. Definitely a sad story. Let me know if you could hear the video, okay, please.
And cellular reception here as far as your call.
Again, welcome to the channel. Thumbs up, appreciate it as well. I'll keep quiet in the meantime for just jump in and out.
And I believe that we might have lost Christine McLarty, but I will, unless Christine, one more time.
Hey, JB, I think I just got you back.
All right, there you are, Christine. I want to just bring up that one note, that observation that you made earlier, that you said that about 20 minutes before the FBI and police came swarming into the scene here of the Laundrie family household, you said that you saw Brian Laundrie's father go out to one of the vehicles here. Maybe you can, again, tell us which vehicle it was. And you said retrieved some form of paperwork, some papers out of the vehicle.
Yeah, so I actually didn't see it with my own 2 eyes, but there's a lot of people here, and that is word over here. I should have clarified that is what everybody over here is saying that they saw. I can't tell you exactly which car it was that he grabbed the documents out of, but again, I did hear that he grabbed documents out of a car, and then that the parents were escorted into that black van that's just over on the left before being taken into the house.
Christine, any final notes from your reporter's notebook out there, or the notes application on your iPhone? Any final notes here as far as what you're going to be monitoring here in the hours ahead as you're here live outside the scene? In fact, I think we see you from Eagle 8 HD. Any final notes here before we let you go?
Yeah, I think that I just want to, say that, again, this is a very active and fluid situation. We're going to have team coverage. We have one of my colleagues, Allison, one of our colleagues, Allison, is just down the street here as we try to learn more. We've been out here since 4 a.m. and we expect to be out here.
Welcome in, everybody. Scott, the two Bryans. How are you doing, my friend?
And of course, we
got 24/7 live easy skies. I'm just going to keep quiet in the meantime, let you guys hear the video. I'll jump in and out every now and then.
Thank you to all of our team that is out here giving us and giving you folks the very latest here. Thanks, Christine, for taking some time to join us. All right, back here with you live, everybody, on WFLA Now. JB Buno here with you. And I think that what we're going to do here is have some additional folks join us and provide us with their perspective. Just again, an interesting observation that Christine is noting that it appears that something might have been, that could be absolutely nothing. It could be something, but some paperwork apparently being removed from one of the vehicles outside of the Laundrie household by Brian Laundrie's father, based on the report that Christine just gave us here. So again, could be something, or could be a big fat nothing. We just don't know what that means at this time, but of course we'll keep you posted if we learn anything new here. But the FBI, police this morning here, for those of you just joining us, coming in blaze and swarming the home here and executing a court authorized search warrant here. The grounds for that warrant remain unclear. We're going to get an affidavit as we understand it, and we'll be able to shed some more light on what it was that got us to this point, because we've had a lot of your questions and comments coming in here, and there's one here in the queue that I would like to bring up here, because this is a question that's being asked by a lot of folks, and I wish Walt is taking some phone calls right now, getting some information from on the latest, with the latest here on the story. And love Crystal here, hashtag hey Walt, why did they take so long for a warrant, and will they take all phones as well? Let me answer the second. Want information as soon as it comes out. So when we have it, you have it. That's my word here to you. So did they take all the phones? We don't know, but when we know, you know. But let's focus on the first part of this comment here from Love Crystal. Why did they take so long for a warrant? And I'll just kind of jump off of that question with another that I'll ask here for our audience. What changed here? What changed in the last 24 hours that now we have a search warrant? It's not that they had to wait for a judge because it's Monday morning and they couldn't get a court authorized search warrant over the weekend, or at least of course you would hope that's never the case, that they can get a search warrant, of course, on a Saturday. What changed? Something changed as far as them being able to execute the search warrant. Was it connected to Gabby Petito's remains, or what's believed to be Gabby Petito's remains being discovered in Northwest Wyoming? Did that spur the warrant? There's a lot of questions now as to why now and why not last Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Why is it Monday, September 20th when we now have this scene and not earlier? Did something new come through that led to this court authorized search warrant officially being executed? I think we'll know more in the hours ahead once we get the affidavit. A lot of questions and comments coming in here. We are going to take some more of your questions here and your comments, but let's see if we can one more time here, folks. More questions and comments coming in here, and I'm going to see if we can get 8 on your side and Senior Investigator Walt Petito to join us here. But I'm going to see if one more time we can bring in Eagle 8 HD's Paul Lamison there for us in the sky above the Laundrie household. Paul, I just want to check in here with you for a brief moment. I know you got a lot to worry about there in the air, but has anything changed in the last several minutes, and any new observations that you can share with our audience members here on WFLA Now? Paul is preparing for I was just told here, Paul is preparing for a live report on WFLA News Channel 8. He can't be live on broadcast and on digital at the same time, or at least we can tap into his signal while he's live on television, but he's preparing in his ear right now for a live report on television. So we'll come back to him here, folks, momentarily when we can. Well, listen in. I'll leave Paul's chopper audio. So if you hear any mumbling here, not that Paul mumbles, Paul's a great at what he does, but if you hear any radio traffic, it's because we have Paul's audio fully up here in the background. Okay. Walt Petito sitting back down here with us. Walt, anything new since you last, as you plug back in here?
No, in fact, I was going to ask you the same thing. I was on the phone with a source right there, but what's going on?
A lot of questions and comments that are coming in here, and this is now a good opportunity here for us. We'll listen in here for Paul's report. Paul is coming up here, everybody. You can see him down there in an eagle, or his wonderful headshot down there in the bottom right-hand portion of your screen, but we'll get the latest here from Paul in a moment. But let's get to some more of the hashtag HeyJB, hashtag HeyWalt comments right now, folks. File them in. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, file them in here and we'll animate them on screen only if they have those hashtags so that we can let your comments scroll by if you don't want your comment to be featured here on WFLA Now. Okay, Laura Manley, hashtag HAB. Are the Laundrie parents being charged as accessories? And no.
Maybe it's changed in the last few seconds, but we are still dealing with a missing person case, and we do have a body, but we don't know the cause of death. We don't know who knows what the cause of death. It could be anything. And everybody is suspicious because we saw them fight, and we have a police report that indicates that on the 12th of August that he grabbed her face and he was seen as the aggressor. And then we have Brian was back in Florida by the 1st of September. So there's that 6-day window that we are wondering what happened in that 6-day window.
And again, Brian Laundrie is a missing person in a missing persons case. And we had a comment last night on WFLA Now, someone that her name was Leah. I remember her name. It's hard for me to remember all the comments and all the names, but her name was Leah, and she made a point, and we've seen it a lot. People saying, no body, no charge, or know that Gabby Petito's remains were, and again, a body matching her description was found in Northwest.
Guys, let me pause this video for a minute. I'm going to try to find you guys a better stream. This one keeps lagging, so just give me a second. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to remove that one, and I'm going to try to find you guys a better one. Hang tight. Share your comments, though, in the meantime. As I go about finding a new one.
That was found deceased, and an autopsy is going to reveal the cause of death, and then we'll know whether or not that.
I think one of the problems with the stream is that Google Chrome usually seems to be a lot more of an issue for me than Firefox for whatever reason. Before it was like Firefox using up all the resources, but I think with Chrome, it really makes the video laggy when I'm trying to live stream. Thanks for your patience, guys. Gonna see if I'm able to go onto StreamYard via Firefox at the same time.
Separately here as well, separately, but of course they are related in that we have a missing person. Other people have searching for him. Has he even been interviewed yet or taken into custody in any way? Let's just answer the second part of this question first. No. I mean, he's invoked his constitutional right to remain silent, and he went missing. So,
as far as are they searching for him, one of Allison Henning, who's been doing a great job on this from the scene from Northport, she said that there's no longer an active scene looking for him. Does that mean they've exhausted that area? Did they get a tip he's not there anymore? So Are they looking for him actively? They might be, but it's not in a grid search as they were doing over the weekend. Where are they looking? We don't. But no, we'd like to know. In fact, if you see any indication of that or have any information of that, get a hold of us here.
Haley, thanks for the comment.
If I can't do it, I'm going to have to switch over to Firefox. I'll have to kill this live stream and just quickly bring up another one, but just give me a sec. I'll let you know if I am able to just switch it to.
While the active ground search in my active actually isn't currently underway, doesn't mean that they. Oh, okay.
Okay, guys, I'm going to try right now. If we get disconnected, just look for the new stream to begin in about 5 minutes time. Okay, we might get disconnected, so let's see what happens.
Right.
Hey guys, I think I figured it out. Let me know if you can hear me, please.
Or they had incorrect information pertaining to their arrest. That's the scenario where Brian could be anywhere. If they said, we know where Brian is, and that information was incorrect, they didn't in fact know where Brian was, then that puts anything and everything
Can you guys hear me okay?
into the realm of possible as to where Brian could be. So that Thursday press conference is key because Chief Garrison saying, we know where Brian is, we know where Brian is, leads us to believe, okay, if you knew where he was, then where was he? Because they didn't say where he was. They didn't say what his exact location was, but they said we know where he is. So again, back to those two scenarios where people asked me if he could have left the country. I think at this stage, we can say that would be.
All right, thank you guys. I'm going to put the video back up. And again, let me know if you can hear the video. Give me a sec. Let's try this.
So many unknown variables, but at the same time, back to the passport question, Brian, if he has a passport, he still has it. Only a judge and a court order can take a passport from an American citizen.
So that, we know that didn't happen. We also don't know that he had a passport. One thing about Chief Garrison's comment on Thursday that is puzzling and maybe I think even troubling for some is he was asked twice, do you know where he is? And he said very, very short and succinct. He said yes. That's what he said. Now, then we find out on Friday the parents hadn't seen him since Tuesday. Did the chief know something or thought he knew? Did the chief think he knew something that the parents didn't know? Because now we don't think he's been seen actually since Tuesday. So a lot changed. And that's troubling, I think, to folks. And we've had some comments from law enforcement officers who suggested at least that he should have been under surveillance. We don't know that he was or wasn't, but we do know they lost track of Mr. Laundrie. And we're still wondering where he is 3-4 days later after the chief said he knew where he was.
Just to again, I'm not making this up. I want to show folks an example of some of the comments that are out there, like from Eric here, #HJB, could have left out of Miami as a stowaway on a boat or a small plane, someone assisting in just my thoughts. And this is the type of comments and questions that are out there pertaining to where Brian could be. Florida is in a unique place, the country as far as trying to get travel internationally. So these are just some of the comments that we're seeing out there. Let's get to Ruben Valencia Jr. on Twitter. A Twitter comment here, #KJD, #AWAL. Did he flee, or is he considered a missing person?
He is still a missing person. We have body. We do not have positive identification.
Same question here from Brittany. Yep.
We don't have positive identification of the body, although it seems as though something
Audio issue.
in Gabby Petito's father, that is indeed Gabby Petito's body. We have a body, but we don't have a cause of death. We don't have a cause of death. We don't even have any officers telling
Still
us
playing around, guys. Still playing around.
Like something they could have seen at the crime scene. We may have that today, we may not, but we still have a. He is still a person of interest and a missing person, and that's what we have now. That could very well change at any time.
Good question here from Courtney Chambly, #KJB. Technically, does law enforcement have to give an affidavit to the public? What they do reveal is that cleared by the parents first. How does that work?
Gonna put the audio back on. Let me know, please, if you can hear it.
Become public. There are various deadlines depending on the state. They can keep it private for a certain period of time, but the public, that is a public document.
I'll let you know in a second when I.
It's harder to get a federal affidavit than it is a local affidavit. But yes, what do they reveal? The law enforcement goes to a judge and says, "Hey, Your Honor," they write it out. This is what we know. We know this, this, and this of this case. It tells a story of the case, and it usually tells us more than we know. The affidavit is always, in every crime I've ever covered, or we're not a crime here, a missing person case, whatever it is, it's always very, very revealing. Often offers.
I'm gonna check if I can hear it as well. 1 sec.
We don't have that affidavit yet. No, it does not have to be. It does not have to be cleared by the parents. If this is an investigation, the FBI has the right to go to a judge with what they know, and they have to. They're honest, hopefully, and they submit what they know, and then the judge says, "Okay, I'll let you search the house." That's how it works. And so we're waiting for that affidavit. We don't have it yet. We'll see if we get that anytime soon. But again, if it's a federal affidavit, it might take a little longer.
Courtney, thanks a lot for your question here. Let's reintroduce ourselves to our audience here. 8 on your side, senior investigator Walt Petito. The phone's ringing off the hooks here. We also have, of course, Eagle 8 HD's Paul Lamison, who's in the sky here for us. We'll try to get to Paul. Do you need to take that, Walt?
No.
Okay, you're good?
Yeah.
Okay, so Paul Lamison there for us in Eagle 8 HD. 8 on your side, senior investigator on WFLA Now's JV Buno here, folks. We're answering your questions. And this is a live picture here from Paul from Eagle 8 HD here in the center of your screen. Any and all feeds that we have access to, we're going to provide you with. But this is the scene right now at the Laundrie home. Interesting of note here that let's talk about what's going on right now at the house. Well, let's talk about this, because if the parents are back in the house, the vehicles for law enforcement are still there. Is there a conversation going on now in the house? So if protocol here is escort the parents from the home, execute the search warrant, retrieve items that you need to retrieve, photograph the property, photograph the interior, and then escort the parents back into the house, then why are law enforcement still at the scene? Why do we have the vehicles still here is their conversation. Has the Laundrie family decided maybe now is the time to begin speaking, now that this has escalated to the point where a search warrant is being executed here? Because at this stage of where we are now, it's about, it's been about 20 to 30 or so minutes since the Laundrie parents were allowed back inside of the house. I would have assumed that by now that perhaps we would have had some vehicles starting to leave the scene here, and the driveway starting to become a little bit less hectic as it is right now. But all those law enforcement vehicles there on the front lawn and right up there on the front door, they're still there. So it leads you to wonder, and I have to ask this question, is the Laundrie family speaking? We don't know. And until we have information from police, we don't know. But it's an observation here, because it seems from what we're witnessing here from Eagle 8 HD, the execution of the search warrant at this time appears to be over. No more photographers taking pictures outside of the house. No more people going in and out with containers to, collect evidence and bring evidence back into their vehicles.
But they could very well have been working from the outside in. So I don't know that we know it's over.
We don't know. We don't know. We don't know that it's over. We just know the parents are back inside.
There's no doubt, by the way, that they took a picture of that shed from the back of the shed. So you wonder about that. Could be nothing, but I don't know.
There's also a scenario here where perhaps the Laundrie family requested to be in the comfort of their own home while the search warrant was being executed, because they didn't want to be outside in a media circus, or they didn't want to be in a car, or that they gave their word that they would not interfere with the execution of the search warrant if they could stay in an area of the home where they could just be safe within the confines of their home.
And what you said is possible too, although the family hired a lawyer it seems like 2 weeks ago, right? Or a week ago, long before. And that was the great criticism. Why isn't he talking? Why isn't Brian talking? Well, he has a lawyer. So if the lawyer told Brian not to talk, I'm wondering if the lawyer would have told the parents not to talk either. I mean, that's all part of it. And again, the frustrating part, and we have to be patient here, is we don't know what the people in that house know, or at least think they know about this case. So
let's get some more of your hashtag AJB comments here, but let's see one more time. I think we we can finally bring in Eagle 8.
The other side, because I have a couple of things I want to show.
Okay, so Eagle 8 HD's Paul Lamison. Let's see if we can just kind of check in with Paul here, everybody, and see if we can bring up Paul. Paul Lamison over the radio. This is JB at WFLA. Can you hear me? And what do you have here in the last several minutes from the sky?
Hey, JB, yeah, I can hear you. And hey, what I'm going to do a look live for WFLA, but you can stay here because this is all the information you're going to need. And I'm going to give you a real quick show and tell of what's going on here at the home. And we're over the Laundrie home right now. So hang on, here we go, JB. Hey, Linda, this is going on 3, 2, 1. We are over the Laundrie home in Northport. And I want to show you a couple of things. Here's the home. The search warrant was started, and they came inside the house. The only time we've seen them come out is out in this back area. If you see this shed, they came out, walked around the shed, took several pictures. Then they went inside the shed and also took pictures. They then went back into the screened-in pool area back into the home. We saw one other agent come out for a short period of time, and then they went back in. Now, out in the front yard, what I want to show you is right behind this tree, that gray car, that is, in fact, the Mustang that Brian apparently drove to the park to go hiking. And then on Wednesday, his parents brought it back and parked it in the driveway. It's been there ever since. But there is the Mustang. The other thing I want to show you is this red vehicle. That's the parents' vehicle. We've seen that come and go several times with inside. Remember the Northport Police Department. They are out here standing watch over this house. And again, as the warrant goes on inside. So far, the activity has been pretty much inside the house. I do want to tell you that just about a mile, 2 miles from here is where the park is. So this house is close to where they were searching all weekend. Right now, the whole street is blocked off as they execute a warrant inside this home in Northport. We'll be here and give you any information as it becomes available. In Eagle 8 HD, Paul Lamison, 8 on your side. Okay, JB, there. I just did that for the web. But again, JB, this house, it's in a neighborhood it's a fairly busy neighborhood. And there's really no way, like people thought maybe he went out the back.
And if you are just joining us, the tape that you see surrounding the house, they haven't really stated yet if it says, crime scene tape, or if it's just like a warning, do not cross type of message on it. But that part they still have not said. That they can't identify yet what it says on the tape itself, but it has been taped up. Anyways, any questions, comments, do chat amongst yourselves as well in the chat box. I will put the audio back on of this video from WFLA.com.
We're going to be going now. We can go back to Venice and Fuel, but I'll give you one last look at the house as we start heading to Venice. And again, this is the home where the search warrant's going on. The road closed in front as the media and everyone else continues to wait to see what the next step of this case is. Back to you, JP.
Thanks, Paul. Really appreciate it. Again, live here from Eagle 8 HD, showing you the scene here, everybody. And give Paul a follow on social media. One of the best news photographers in the country as far as being able to do it from the ground and from the air, as Eagle 8 HD now returns home. JB Buno, Walt Petito here with you live, everybody on WFLA Now. We'll start to play back again some of that video from earlier, some of the earlier video now from the scene here at the Laundrie family household. Just kind of queuing things up here, and there we have it. Anything you want?
I have nothing new. Again, same questions, I think, as we wait. And Paul brings up a good point, showing us, I think, some great information there, showing us where the various cars that are in there and where the parents are and where they've been, and the fact that they're back inside. That's part of, we're just waiting for this. And keep in mind, it's the FBI. They're not going to tell us a whole lot, I don't think, once they get out of there. And I think the things we're waiting for today are possible forensic results from the Denver FBI and from Wyoming, from the scene out there. We're waiting for, obviously, whether or not we can find Mr. Laundrie, and then we're also waiting to find out what exactly the FBI is looking for inside that house. Will we get those answers today? We don't know. But we will. We obviously will bring them to you as soon as we get them, and hope and sort of try to fill in some of the blanks here of this mystery that's sort of captivated the entire country.
All right, if you've been here with us now for the last hour and a half, you've been really patient as far as your hashtag HJB, hashtag HWalt comments. Now, Walt, if you can here, Gordon, you good? All right, you got it. Just checking in. Don't want to make Gordon Dempsey an unhappy man. Got to make sure that that is, of course, 8 on your side. Senior investigator Walt Petito's photographer here, and they have a lot of work to get to here as far as collecting the latest here for us. So, let's see if we can. How long do you have here for us, Walt? For
10 more minutes.
All right, we got 10 minutes here. We're gonna do rapid fire here. We're gonna just go through rapid fire as many hashtag KJB, hashtag HWalt comments and questions that we can take here, and then we'll wrap up here in WFLA Now, or perhaps bring in another member of our team to continue answering questions if you'd like for us to do so. If you'd like for us to do extended coverage here for us, folks, if you'd like to request extended coverage here, let us know here in the comment section, and we'll stay here with you live. We don't. We're going to be covering the story all day and until its conclusion. So we're here with you. Let's get to some of the comments that have come in here in the last several minutes that are in our queue here. Okay, Amanda Perna, I see this one. Hashtag HJB, I want to commend you and your entire team for covering this so well. Thank you, guys. Thank you. There's been a lot of, I'm not going to throw them all up here, but there have been a lot of very, very kind and sincere comments about our coverage here, and we really appreciate that. We really do. Elizabeth Brady, hypothetically speaking, I like that she begins this with hypothetically speaking. I
was thinking the exact same thing. There's a lot of hypothetically speaking here because we're waiting for some things that are more than hypothetical. But go.
I don't hit the applause button often there as far as our sound effects, but thank you for the hypothetically speaking, because we say that all the time. Elizabeth Brady, hashtag HJB, hypothetically speaking, if the parents have had quite some time to clean the house, what are the chances of the FBI finding anything?
Well, I'll tell you what. they can find whether or not you cleaned the house, by the way. And now I think if this turns into a crime, now you're obstructing justice. Would you do that for your son? Maybe. But yeah, it's a great question. But along those lines, the FBI seems to think that they can go in there and find something. Now, this is video from earlier, right, JB, on the right?
It is.
So
yep.
They are, I don't know what.
This is not live. Let's make that clear,
live,
not live.
But yeah, it's a great question. I just think that what are you cleaning the house up? What are you getting rid of? That's what we don't know. It's not like we don't believe anything happened in that house that would give them I mean, they could still get DNA evidence, for example, in that house, right? They could be in there looking for DNA evidence that then could possibly, they don't have Brian's DNA. Why would they? So they could be looking for DNA evidence. They could be in the bathrooms and looking for that in his bedroom, whatever it is. They're getting that, and that can take some time.
Cynthia Gonzalez has to. Maybe my guess is maybe they're getting fingerprints or something to maybe get something with Brian's DNA to possibly match whatever comes back from Gabby's autopsy. Just a thought. You imagine that forensics are part of this.
Absolutely.
Where we are in this investigation. Absolutely.
100%.
Cynthia, thanks a lot for your comment here, going back to where we are. So we don't, I take these kind of in turn here. Lauren Maynard, #HJB, well, we threw this one up earlier. I'm going to throw this one up here one more time from the UK here. I've been following the case, heartbreaking, praying for justice for Gabby and her family. Speaks to, again, how this is an international news story. People are following this story, not across the country, around the world. Lauren, thanks for watching from the UK. Corey Steelman, #HJB. Do you think that the Laundries told police a wrong location to make sure he could get away? I bring this comment. I'm not going to answer this comment because we don't know. There's just so much that we don't know. But I bring up this because the no service in Yosemite text, the final text that was sent from Gabby's phone to Gabby's mother, there's been so much theorizing going on online pertaining to that comment and whether or not that was intentionally given for a purpose to, throw off the scent, so to speak, of Brian Laundrie and of Gabby Petito. So we don't know the answer to this question, Corey, but I know that there are a lot of people that are asking whether or not that the location was given incorrectly intentionally, and whether or not, as we go through some more of the camera feed video here, but this is what you see on the news or what you see on our news cameras here. But also, do the parents have any role in Brian's disappearance? Is a question that is being asked repeatedly on social media.
Unfair question at this point, I would have to say. I get it. We want answers, but those are questions that we would ask at a news conference. But at this point, again, missing person case, and everybody suspects everybody right now.
Everybody thinks that everyone's the bad guy, and you would, let's just keep that in the context of like there's just so much we don't know, and until we have more information. But there have been some people at the same time commenting that a parent that loves their child, and parents who really, of course, parents love their children and would do anything to protect their child, and that is a sentiment that has been thrown my way, both on stream and off stream, as far as the actions of Brian Laundrie's parents here. Shannon Owens, we talked about this earlier, but Walt, real quick, #HJB, are they still looking for Brian? Absolutely. Of course they are. They're looking for Brian. Just the active search of Mayakahatchee at the reserve there in rural Sarasota County has been called off to re-strategize and reallocate their resources elsewhere. Christina Tolbert, #HJB, are the police/FBI going to do a press conference today? First and foremost, we don't know if there's going to be a press conference today. Of course, if there is one, we're live here with NWFI
My
now.
guess is there will be one.
You say yes.
Will it be the FBI? I think the FBI just tends to not do update sort of press conferences.
I don't think it's going to be FBI.
If the FBI has a news conference, it's going to be to announce that we have a probable cause of death, we have a positive identity on the body, or we have a suspect, or we need your help. That's what. But Northport Police might be pushed by all that media to make some sort of statement today. I would be surprised if they don't.
And it likely would be organized by, or at least shared out by, Northport Police. They're still the lead investigative agency in this case here. Kenesha Hoffman, #HJB, #HWalt, if, in capital letters, if he is found guilty? Will his parents be charged with anything as well? It's just too early to say. He's still a missing person. There's no homicide investigation currently. It's a missing persons case, so we don't even know where Brian is. We don't even know if Brian's going to be charged with the crime. We want to rush this to the conclusion that we can finally say that there's justice for Gabby, and everybody wants that immediate satisfaction, but we're just not there yet.
No, and sometimes a charge in a case like this could be used to convince someone to offer more information. And so parents being charged in a case like this for what? Obstructing justice. Sometimes you might do that in order to get them to talk if they're not cooperating, but it appears they have at least started to cooperate as of Friday, right? Because that's when we saw police going in there Friday, and then they came back today.
Brittany Costello, #AJB, so is he a suspect yet or still a person of interest? Person of interest. Eric's comment we threw up here, Mark Friedrich, #AJB. I'm curious, are officials in Wyoming communicating with the Florida officials in regarding to this case?
We're told yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. This is a multi-agency effort, and
Wyoming, by the way, and Utah.
Yep. So Wyoming's involved, Utah's involved, Florida's involved, Suffolk County Police in New York are involved. Right. So this is a multi-agency effort here, folks. Thank you, Mark, for your comment here. Savvy Martin, #AJB, #Walt. Where is Gabby's van? Currently in lockup with her parents. It's with police.
Police. Last time we saw it was with Northport Police. You have to wonder if this becomes a crime. That becomes a key element, right? Because I'm going to assume they've had it for almost a week, that they have done a lot of analysis on that van at this point, we would think.
3 more here before we have to clear Walt, and then we're going to figure out exactly what our next steps are here on WFLA Now. We've been live now for we're approaching the 2-hour mark here, and we'll of course continue to take some questions here, but we are going to have to take a break here momentarily just to re-strategize here ourselves as far as our coverage plan here. So but 3 more here. Let's get to 3 more. Kelly McNally, #KJB. Did we see how many containers of evidence were taken out of the home? Several. Like I think we can say multiple, right?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, when we saw those going in,
those appeared to be going in or to another vehicle. We do know, I believe on Friday, we had video of an envelope of some sort being taken into the home. And that was Friday. I don't remember seeing it coming out. I assume it did, but we have not seen anything really come out of that house. We're not there live, but we've been watching it live. I don't believe we've seen anything come out of that house as far as that would appear to be evidence.
Let's get some more here in the Facebook Live comment section. YouTube's really hard because they fly in so quickly. Hey, Kelly, thanks for yours. Odd question here from Kristen Owen, #AJB. I'm curious, do the neighbors give media permission to use their lawn/driveway?
Yes. In fact, one of our reporters, I think it was Christine, had pointed out that some of the neighbors did not want, and I can understand that, by the way, as a member of the media. Some neighbors did not want it. Others were more friendly to allow us to at least camp out in their areas on their lawn. So yes, and we do ask for permission. Good question.
Now, the one that was a little crazy was Friday night when everyone was on the Laundrie family front lawn, and how that one worked was, as we understand it, everyone was jockeying for position, and the news crews were on the street and shooting video of the house, and then members of the public went on to the property, and then members of the media were blocked, and then it became, okay, you're blocking me, I'm blocking you, and everyone just kept trying to. It was a mess. It was an absolute mess, and before you know it, half the world is on the Laundrie household front lawn here. I've seen some crazy things as far as swarms of media and public gathering outside of a particular location, but being 6 feet away from the front door of the house is that was new for me. That was pretty.
You're talking about Friday, right?
Yeah, Friday night.
That was I said it to my wife. Very odd to be right there. Almost seemed wrong, to be honest. But jockeying for position can sometimes do that with the media. It's not our best moment. That happens.
Jen Dick, #AJB, #AWalt. Thank you for the coverage. I'm from Vancouver, Canada. You guys are my go-to for information. I can always count on you to be live.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jen. Appreciate that. audience member again internationally joining us here on WFLA Now. All right, last one here for at least until we clear Walt. Hashtag AJB, Jonna, Skidmore, Ralston, hashtag AJB. Speaking of the family attorney, where is said attorney now?
Stephen Bertolino, we don't know where he is. He's from New York. So, but that's someone I could imagine making a statement today as well. I'm not sure how much information we'll get out of it or whether he'll take questions, but I can see a statement coming from that attorney. After all, one of his clients is missing, and the other two are in that house right now with FBI presumably combing it for some sort of evidence, something that might help this case.
We're gonna take a break now here, folks. Okay, so let me explain how this is going to work here, folks. How we're gonna kind of figure out exactly where we go now that we have lost both live feeds from our from outside of the house here. Walt, feel free to get going here. I know Corey's looking for you. Appreciate it.
Fascinating case. May never see one like it again. I've said that before.
All right, guys. So that's basically the latest right now.
Thank you all.
We are going to go live with calls. If you guys want to call in, let me just remove this here. Yeah, so if you guys want to call in, feel free. I'm going to post the link, and then afterwards I will switch over to OBS, where we'll be able to show different video scenes from Brian Enton, who is on Twitter. He is the one that's been streaming from the outside of the Laundrie's home. Let me quickly get the invite for you all if you want to call in. There's the address. I'm going to pin it in the top of the chat as well and put it in the description, so if people want to call in, it's easier for them to find. We'll go for about, we'll try for about half an hour, and then we'll come back on later this afternoon, as I said, via OBS, but that way we cannot have call-ins, but I will be able to show videos clearly without any issues. So what do you think? There's going to be a resolution today? Are they going to find them? Whether hiding, whether missing. Bottom line is, are we going to find them? Let's see if I can pull up some the videos that I was talking about from Brian Enton on Twitter. I'll give you his correct pronunciation and spelling of his name. That way, if you do want to check him out, he is on Twitter and a very reliable source. He is outside the home of the Laundries, and he's been there from the start. Let me just log into it right now, and then we will show you exactly what he's been showing, what he's been saying, what he's been able to stream. Let me try to share the screen here. Yeah, Scott, I think so too. And that's actually the worst thing that can happen, because then we will never know what happened. Let's see if I can share the screen here. Easy Sky says you'll pretend he's going to commit suicide, but you'll be caught alive. We can hope. Let's hope. Let's see if I can. Window. Hopefully they will also have the press conference too this afternoon. They probably will announce it about an hour or so beforehand. Don't know why it's not letting me do the Twitter one from Firefox. Again, I have no problems with Chrome, but the video is such an issue with Chrome. Give it a few more tries. If we still have an issue, as I said, we will go on to, oh, this might work. Okay, never mind. Let me make it a bit bigger for y'all. All right, so that's the guy I was talking about on Twitter. His name is Brian Enton. So if you want to follow him, which I definitely recommend, he is at, this is him here, at Brian Enton, ENTIN. I highly suggest that you follow him. As you can see from 1 hour ago, parents back in the house. That is actually him filming it. And 150 comments. So let's see what people have to say about that video. D was asking, does anyone have a link to the chopper footage? I think that was the one from WFLA. Well, let me... yeah, that was him live streaming that one that's ended. So FBI says they are executing a search warrant at the Laundrie residence relevant to the Gabby Petito investigation. He's got some new tweet already. Let's see, what's the last thing? From 3 minutes ago, he said, it seems this search may go on a while. Police just brought what appeared to be lunch into the Laundrie house. And 1 minute ago, another cooler with drinks brought in. No surprise that this is going to go on for a while. So if anybody wants to call in, click on the the link in the pinned message. We will be able to chat about this. Yeah, a lot of people kind of take that they're eating, but I mean, the cops have to eat too, don't they? Look at this one. Is this a search warrant or a picnic? MK, since when did FBI bring food to a suspected crime scene? Shaking my head. Well, I mean, again, they got to eat, so. We searching for evidence or having a barbecue? WTF, is this communion? That's a good one. Maybe they'll get the Laundries drunk so they spill all the tea. All right, let me repost the link. If you guys want to call in, click on that link, and you'll be able to either do it by video or by audio. Just make sure that you are unmuted. You just basically click on the link, verify that you're a YouTube user, and we'll be able to chat. I will be doing another stream this afternoon. I just don't know if I'll be doing it via StreamYard for callers to call in, or if we will be doing it via OBS. I will be doing it via OBS if there is a press conference, so we will be able to watch that in its entirety. If you guys have any questions, comments, do put them in the chat box. That's what it's there for. This is going to take a while, that's for sure. This person said that's not lunch. They believe it's equipment to swab and take DNA samples and who knows what else. Let's go under tweets and replies. "25 minutes ago, nothing new. He's there waiting." Service terrible because so many reporters are here. Going to try another live in a minute. That's been an ongoing issue for the whole week. I don't know. The reception there is absolutely brutal. Yeah, exactly. 24/7. As long as I get it right, who cares? Let them eat cake. And this is from back an hour to 2 hours ago. Let's go back to his feed at the beginning here, tweets. Or see what kind of media he has. That was the statement from Gabby's family attorney, just asking for privacy and thanking law enforcement for their tireless work. This here says, my mobile command center just left the Brian Laundrie, Florida search. Weather has not been good. Waiting to find out if they're officially done for the day. That was last night, well, 20 hours ago. Once again, I recommend everybody follow at Brian Entin, E-N-T-I-N, and it's Brian, B-R-I-A-N. He has been at the scene since the beginning. An aerial view of where police are searching for Brian right now in Florida. The Carlton Reserve is 25,000 acres. And this video is from News Nation affiliate WFLA. From yesterday as well, the family says this is in the Spread Creek dispersed camp area of the park. Here are photos police provided us of the van. where it is now at Northport Police Department. That's the three of them. This was the one where the Red, White, and Butane family bloggers have given permission to share this video. The family says they were driving through Grand Teton National Park around 6 p.m. on August 27th and spotted Gabby Petito's van. They were just going through old video and saw the van. And you can see it there. You can also see in their YouTube video, which you should definitely check out, the front rear view, you could actually see Gabby's hat on the dashboard. You could sort of see it there, but you can see it much clearer in the frontal video, which is again on their website. Now we're going far back. I mean, this is from, again, Wednesday with the Mustang in the driveway. This is from last Tuesday. He said, this video is from later Tuesday night. No Mustang. We left the night shortly after this. A lot of people are asking about the Mustang in Brian Laundrie's driveway. Police took something out of it on Friday. We got into town Tuesday and the Mustang was not there. This is video from 7 p.m. Tuesday when the father was leaving. No Mustang. That again is from last week. So again, if anybody has any comments or wanting to call in, feel free to do so. We'll go on for the next little while. If nobody calls in, then we will just call it off for now and be back later this afternoon with hopefully a press conference, if not some scenes from outside the Laundrie home once again. Or if you want to ask questions or have comments, you could also put them in the chat box on YouTube. We had a few callers over the past weekend discussing their thoughts and feelings. Very interesting to hear other people's comments. This is the platform to do that, so I'd much rather do it that way than watching mainstream media and just hear what they have to say. I think 1,000 voices are much better than just one, including my own. So if anybody wants to call in, the link is on the screen there, as well as in the chat box. I am also going to, since I mentioned it, play you. Let me just end this one first. I'll also pull up the calls from, well, not yesterday, but I'll pull up the calls from Saturday, so you guys can listen to that and what people had to say about this. So just give me a sec here. Hopefully this will work again. We don't know. Let me see if this will work. The link to call in is going to stay on the bottom left corner. During this video, you'll be able to see another link in the top side, but just go with the bottom one. That's the correct link to call in if you're wanting to call in while the video is playing. Let's back out again. It's going to take a sec.
But at the same time, she was not exactly 100% either. So it was a very, very toxic, or it is a very, very toxic relationship.
All right, here was a conversation that happened on Saturday. If you guys want to call in, again, I'm going to leave the link on the screen as well as on the chat box.
Thank you for that. If you guys do have time, I would like for you guys to call in and discuss this with me, as I want to hear as many different opinions and people's thoughts as possible. That's basically why we do this. I mean, this is a platform for us to share opinions and thoughts. And as I've noticed last night, there are a bunch of good people on this channel. So I don't mind you guys calling in and voicing your opinion as to what you think is going on. So if you have time and if you feel not as shy as you should be, call in. The link is in the description as well as in the pinned message in the chat box. You don't have to go on cam. We just need to have your mic on so I can hear you and we can talk about it. Let me just do one more thing here, and then I see Wade is calling in. Let me quickly add him in now. Wade, good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are you?
Doing good.
Good. So any new update from you that you've heard overnight, or still the same old, same old?
The last thing that we were discussing last night.
Try to get into a clearer area because you're breaking up big time.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What about now?
So much better. Yeah. Okay. Try again.
I was up pretty late because we were talking about the YouTube couple that kind of inadvertently captured their van on a video that they were making. Captured Gabby's van at a particular campsite. Are you familiar with that one yet?
I've heard briefly about it, but I haven't heard much about it. But if you want to fill us in, I mean.
Oh, I don't know if there's a whole lot to fill in, but I think that's an area that now the FBI has, or they've kind of blocked it off from searching the area, from what I understand.
Do you think there'll be any new update today? I mean, I can't see them finding him anytime soon.
No, I don't either. And I'm not even sure they're looking in the right place. I feel like Brian's very methodical.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's more of a distraction from where he really is, but who knows? What do you think?
Well, again, we can only go by what we saw on the body cam. And to me, he just seemed like he was just nonchalant, like no big deal. Crap happens. We got into an argument, nothing really. But he was the one with all the scratches again. I didn't see any markings on her at all. Did you?
No, someone had mentioned that her eyes looked puffy, almost a little bit swollen. Especially, I think it was under her right eye in one of her Instagram posts.
Right.
But he did say, or I think she said, that he grabbed my face and pushed me away. He didn't really describe it the same way. Which to me, that's pretty aggressive behavior. Even, I think I mentioned on your stream before that, I think it was yours, but I've been kind of attacked by a girlfriend before.
Yeah, you told me. Yeah, you told us last night.
My reaction was just to put my arms around her to stop her from hitting me. I never felt any reason to counter her in any way or to be physical with her in any way other than trying to just keep her arms from hitting me in the face. Mm-hmm. But so I just don't think, especially she's so small, you don't really feel, even if you're getting hit, you don't really feel, just speaking from my personal experience, you don't really feel threatened by the situation. You obviously don't want it to continue, but I just think grabbing someone's face, I couldn't do that to someone that I cared about. So that part concerns me.
But I mean, yeah, I know what you're saying. Again, I don't want to get too much information from you about her personal problems or whatever, but she was under medication, right?
My ex-girlfriend?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she did. She told me a little bit. So I never knew what medication it was, but obviously she had something going on, whether it was bipolar or what. I never really knew. She did tell me that she'd seen a therapist, and then I started seeing hints of other little things going on. So, and apparently, I see some concerning behavior too with Gabby. So I'm not sure where you're trying to go with that.
No, I'm just saying that I'm trying to figure out what kind of issues Gabby has, because I know people react differently regarding OCD or schizophrenia or bipolar. I don't really know the difference between a schizophrenic and a bipolar disorder.
Yeah, I wouldn't know either.
Yeah, so, and then again, whichever one she had, even if two different people have the same bipolar issue, we don't know if they also have the same reactions to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, it's not something. It's not an area I have any experience in.
I mean, I don't see how Brian was so calm in that video. I mean, I know me, if I had troopers or cops pull me over and question what's going on between you and your girl, I would be a lot more nervous because, well, you're in the middle of a highway and cops are questioning you and your girlfriend. I mean, it's a pretty nerve-wracking experience, I would think, anyway.
Well, and even the officer who most likely has dealt with this similar situation before, he said to Brian, he asked him if he was on any medication or had been drinking or anything. And then he said, when Brian answered no to those questions, he said, well, you seem a little hyper.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the officer who's trained to look for these clues of behavior, has noticed that there's something not right about the way he's acting.
But then you could turn it over to even ADHD. You see, there could be so many things. I would think that by now the cops would know his medical history or his issues from the past.
What do you think about his behavior?
Again, I just saw it as very, very strange how he was just so in a kind of like in a good mood being questioned by cops, which again, I could only go by how I would feel, and I just don't see it. I just don't know how he could be so calm, cool, and collected about it.
Well, I think most people agree with you. I've heard other people say that he just seemed to be acting oddly, like it just wasn't, like you said, kind of a big deal to him. But so you don't have any idea of why that is or what that might mean?
Again, maybe it's just his demeanor or the way he's been his whole life. I don't know the guy, so as far as even his past history, I know nothing about him.
Yeah. For me,
and again, even not just him, but what about the parents? Again, it's getting more and more unlikely that he went to where they say he went. I think they're looking in the wrong place, because they should have found him by now, or at least some article of clothing or anything, but nothing at all after a weekend. What is it now? 8 days or something like that? 7 days?
Yeah, I am pretty analytical, and I can usually size up situations pretty well. There's some people that can fool me just because they're just so good at it. Mm-hmm. And I do tend to try to see the best in people. But with him, I just really get the feeling that he's someone that has trouble sleeping at night, because his wheels don't stop turning. His mind is always racing, thinking about, and that's why, like you said, almost, I guess that could be kind of an ADHD type situation, where I feel, and even the particular incident that they were talking about, that kind of, they said maybe kind of led to when the police pulled them over. Gabby was saying more like, I was wanting to work on my social media. He doesn't think I can do it. And he was wanting, and Brian starts to say something about the social media. Yeah, she was working on the social, and then he stops himself mid-sentence, and he kind of changes what he wanted to say about that. And what I interpreted from that was that Gabby, he was kind of bothering Gabby, like, let's go. We had this other day planned. We're supposed to be out hiking or whatever it was. And she was wanting to stay at the location that they were at, where she had service or whatever it was, and working on her social media. And I think that kind of plays into my perception of his personality, is that he wants to be doing things on the go, where she's comfortable just being at peace with and still in the moment.
Do you think people should be more upset at Brian or the parents?
I feel like, what do you think? That's a great question. I feel like in some ways the parents.
Because again, I do not see him being where they said he supposedly said he was going. How do you survive a week where he is at with a backpack? No matter how much food you have in there, I don't think you could fill it up for a week's worth.
No, that's what I'm saying. I feel like that was some sort of diversionary tactic.
Like, what about water?
I don't see him. I just don't see him as the kind of person that is a true survivalist out in nature. I think in his mind, sure, he likes to go barefooted. He likes to rough it. I think in reality, I just don't see he's young. I don't think he's really experienced the world or had any true adversity outside of maybe his own kind of demons. But talk about external adversity, I don't see him lasting very long without the assistance of his parents, which is why I think he ended up in their house under the circumstances.
Have you ever heard of a story where somebody goes away for a week with a backpack only, and then somehow survives with that limited amount of food? Is that even possible?
It is, sure. Yeah. I think most anyone, other than someone say like Gabby, who she clearly is not able to function on her own, she tells the officers, I don't want to have to drive too far. And you can just see that she needs some stability and some security around her. And so I don't think emotionally or psychologically that someone like that could do it. But I think someone like Brian, who's a little more steadfast in his beliefs and who he is, I think sure probably pretty easily could last a few days. Without water, that's
let
tough.
me quickly add Paul to the stream here. He wants to come on in. Just give me one quick second. Good morning, good afternoon, Paul. How are you?
How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for calling in.
Yes, I just had. I'm usually follow Fox News in America there, and it's been the headlines there the last 3 or 4 days, and it hasn't moved down like at all. It's been like the top story, and I've just been intrigued by it then when I started reading into it. So, and the more I read into it, the more I'm thinking, why has it been so long that this guy hasn't been just grabbed and arrested? And no matter about your rights or whatever, it's been 19 days. Okay, he's gone missing right now, but why hasn't he been grabbed a few days ago to, get the answers out of him where the hell he is?
But okay, so I'll turn the question to you then. What grounds are you going to charge him with? What?
It's not even a ground to charge him with anything, just to talk to him. Where is he?
You can't by law in the States. You can't. I agree with you. Of course, I agree with you. But I mean, there's nothing that can prevent them from him having to say anything. He's not charged with anything.
Yeah, and that's fair enough point, but how his parents even, I know we all look after our own children, but couldn't push them forward. So now he's actually gone missing.
It's been close to, I believe he left on either the 12th or the 13th. So they said he went for hiking. And yeah, about 6-7 days ago, and he's still hiking, supposedly, according to the parents.
So, I mean, isn't it really fascinating, the whole story together? What boggles me is how they went on a trip for like so long.
So if anything, I would think that the parents can be charged with obstruction of justice, but the problem is you don't know if they're really telling the truth because they can't find him.
Yes. So, I mean, I guess we're all guessing at the minute and we all want answers, but at the end of the day,
it remains a mystery.
Exactly. And we need to talk. He's the main. At the end of the day, we need to talk to him.
And let me just pull up what the user on the channel said. U.S. Constitution, 5th Amendment, presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. They have nothing to arrest him on. That's the whole problem with the court structure in the States. And Wade, I know you're in the States, so I don't really want to bash your court system, but I mean, I think you kind of agree that it's not exactly up to par.
Well, I'm actually an Irish citizen, but I'm an American citizen.
No, I know your accent. I can tell you're not in the States. But Wade, I was saying Wade. But where are you from, Paul? Or where were you from originally?
I grew up in Ireland, Donegal, and I moved to America when I was 18. I'm actually currently in Italy right now.
Are you? Where about?
I'm actually in Rome.
Oh, okay. I'm from Venice originally. So.
Oh, you're up north.
Yeah, northern boy. So how is it in Rome right now as far as the restrictions and everything? I know it's a bit off topic, but just curious what's happening over there right now.
The restrictions here right now is if you're going to eat inside a restaurant, you need the green pass, which is like the vaccine. It's like a vaccine passport.
Yeah.
It's actually digital compared to the US where we have like it's on a card.
Oh, okay.
So, but anytime I show the card, I have no problem sitting down anywhere. But
yeah,
really,
you're gonna need that everywhere around the world.
To get around, I'm actually going to Dublin, Ireland tomorrow afternoon. I think it's the same regulations, restrictions there as well to eat inside.
So you're from the Robbie Keane home.
Robbie Keane, yeah, big fan of him over the years. Yeah, he was a good Ireland's top goal scorer over the years. I think he had 53 goals or something like that.
What's happened with Ireland? They're not going to qualify for the World Cup either, are they? They're not doing too well.
Well, actually, we just lost our first. We were 2 goals up against Portugal, and Ronaldo. I'm sorry, 1 goal up, and Ronaldo got 2 goals in like 4 minutes.
Yeah, well, pre and after the slap to the face there.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's a story for another day, I guess.
Yeah, and he's after scoring today again for United. He's a genius, whatever you want to say about him. So.
Well, I'm a Juve fan, so we had him.
I'm a big fan of Ronaldo, and Juventus was good last year when he was with them. But I mean, going back to the case, listen, let's all hope and pray that
definitely
that this all comes to a good ending, you know.
So for the final thoughts, do you think that there is any chance she is alive, and if so, on what basis are you hoping that this is just a big hoax? Or, I mean, how else can she be alive other than this was just a hoax?
I'm a believer if there's light, there's hope. So as long as we get up in the morning and we all see light, we've hope for the day, isn't it? So there's no point in anybody making judgment because nobody knows. So listen, as long as we don't hear no bad news, let's pray for some good news, you know.
That's a good way to leave it off, definitely. Yeah, I appreciate you calling in. As I said, I was only going to go for about half an hour or so this morning. I'm going to come back on tonight.
So that was a couple calls from. Let me just kill the audio on this. So that was some calls from, I believe that was Saturday. I'll pull up one more video, or the audio anyway, of some other callers that called in the day before with, again, their opinions, comments, which I found interesting. Let me just pull that one up. A caller from Utah, I believe, was the first call. Let's listen in now.
Typical difficulties, you know what I'm saying?
No, it's all good. It's all good. How are you doing tonight?
So, yeah, not bad, not bad. Where are you calling from?
Utah, I'm in Utah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what do you know about this case, or what is your feeling or thoughts?
Well, I heard about it on the 10th when they reported her missing, and I think as most of the country, kind of got obsessed with it and was like, what's going on? Why is he not talking? And I don't know, I've just, seen the whole thing relating to how, they went there and then they came back, and then it's just been really interesting so he just came back alone, and then what the police have been doing. But I just have a question for you. What do you think about how the FBI said, we're not going to surveil him, and then they it's not our job to surveil him?
To be honest with you, I always thought right from the body cam video that they should have been separated right then and there. I don't understand why they allowed them to get back together at that time. All this could have been avoided if they separated them then, but they didn't, as we all know. So I think that was the mistake. But again, did you watch the body cam video?
Oh, absolutely. The whole thing.
And he does not seem like the type of guy that would do anything heinous,
He seems very distant. I watched a few videos relating to his body language, and some forensic psychologists actually did a few videos on him, and that, it seems that potentially maybe Gabby got upset and he didn't know how to handle it. And sometimes people can get violent in that sense. And one of the things I just learned that was really interesting is, so they actually have a group Spotify account that they did, Gabby and Brian. And after she was reported missing on the 25th, not reported missing, but they think that she went missing on the 25th, there were some songs added that were like morbid and that weren't very, you know, conducive.
Do you know what songs?
I can't remember the exact song, but I think it was about something like a dead honey badger or something. I think it's on YouTube. I can pull that up and get the link if you guys want to.
Hang on, I think I lost you. Or the audio cut out for a second.
Hello? Can't hear me?
Hang on, let me try it on the tablet, see if your volume's okay on there. Say something again.
Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you on the tablet. Let me try to just boost up the volume. Okay, sorry. Yeah, you were saying something about the songs there.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't find the video right now, but there was a video that came out, and I just wanted to, you know, what do you think about that, and what do you think about the TikToker and whatnot that came out?
That girl, yeah, I posted that video earlier too. She had a lot of information that I don't know how she would or why she would want to make it up if it wasn't true.
So,
but because again, that's kind of like infringing on this whole investigation if it's indeed fake, right? So I mean, why would you do that just for TikTok views?
Right. I mean, people do that, and she looked kind of young, so I don't know. In that case, I should understand the consequences. I mean, if she said in the video that she specifically told the FBI this, I mean, that's false reporting. That's incorrect. And it seems to be somewhat corroborated, but it's just so weird that they didn't have surveillance on it and they weren't watching it. You know, I mean, they watch everybody.
If she was risking getting in trouble, that last video that she made, I think, was only from this afternoon sometime.
Which video?
The one on the TikTok there, that Miranda, whatever her name is, Miranda
Baker, yeah.
Yeah, she posted her last video about this whole thing like this afternoon. So I mean, if she was in trouble, she's still going on about it. So obviously she's so far legit, I guess.
How do you think this is going to end?
Well, I was speaking to a guy on Spaces on Twitter about half an hour ago, and he said he's from that area. And I asked him about, because they were saying that Brian might have gone into that field there near his house. So I said, well, is there any kind of like wild animals that could have basically eaten them up, and you would never find them if they tore them apart that way? And he said, well, the most dangerous animal they have there is the bobcat. So that's really nothing. I mean, you'll find bones or something of that effect. But then he was saying they also have alligators. Well, if the alligator gets them, they're not going to find nothing.
But that correct as well. Yeah, so, if they have alligators, I mean, you know, I mean, that's basically it. And I mean, I understand as to why people are being very positive, and I really do hope she's alive and she comes home. But I mean, it's been like 3 weeks. So, I mean, this is more than likely, and I'm just a random bystander, and this looks like a homicide investigation based on every fact ever. I just can't imagine that this doesn't end that way.
So, do you think at all that she's still alive in any way?
I would bet, you know, 1,000 to 1 odds no. I mean, she, from the videos, I mean, obviously, you know, I watched a reasonable amount, but I don't like know who she is, you know, before that. But she seems like most people who are like to go to the city, and they mostly are there, but then they go hiking and they do that kind of thing. And like, she didn't seem like a survivalist. And so even the best case scenario, if she was left out there, Brian just freaked out and drove away. I mean, either she would have been close enough to civilization to come back, or she, you know, was too far away. And the elements out there, I don't know how it is in Grand Teton, but in Utah, it gets like, you can get, you know, 20 degrees. And, you know, unless you're wearing pretty substantial, you know, stuff, and then there's water, food, and it's like, she didn't know how to survive. You know, there's all these reasons to think that there was either foul play or she's incapacitated in some way.
Do you think his parents might be involved in any way, shape, or form? Like even trying to protect him, of course, being the son and everything?
Oh,
do you think he even went back home at all?
I haven't seen any evidence to say that, but I mean, technically, I was on this other stream today, and I was talking to this lawyer, and basically, you don't need to be in person in order to get that legal relationship with an attorney. So he very well could have not been there, but I think the police probably do have some sort of evidence to say that he came home. So I think he probably did come home.
Yeah, I think I saw that one. Isn't that like your lawyer here or something like that? He has like a 3-word name or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was on this afternoon too.
Yeah, that one was really insightful.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has so many questions. There's so many people enthralled in this case, and yeah, because I mean, whenever there's so many questions unanswered, you're always more invested in it.
Right.
Again, what if the best case scenario would be it's just one big hoax? That's really the only way she can be alive.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, technically speaking, and that lawyer also mentioned this, that if it was a hoax, I mean, they technically have not committed a crime because neither of them have spoken, right?
Mm-hmm.
So technically speaking, you know, to file a false report or to, you know, be potentially liable if this was a hoax for all of the resources going to find them, especially Gabby, they would have to specifically say, you know, this happened. But by being silent, they could have plausible deniability. But I mean, you got to think, I mean, Brian's life is ruined. Like, he's probably guilty. But regardless of his guilt, his life is totally ruined. Like, for sure, for sure. And I don't think that's worth a hoax. And if you look at the family, I mean, these people are like struggling, you know, they're in pain. And I just can't imagine that they would do that.
But rewind a sec. You said his life is ruined. But at the same time, suppose they find him tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
They can't charge him because he's not a suspect.
Yeah, no.
So even if you find him tomorrow, what can you do? Nothing. He doesn't have to say anything.
Yeah, my question is, I mean, it's like you would think there would be two scenarios for him. Obviously, the best thing would happen is if he just came forward and just told, you know, everybody where Gabby was. But from his perspective, I don't see the reason. Like, I don't think he's walking out of that forest, because if he wanted to leave, and the lawyer also spoke to this to my comment, he can just get on a plane to a non-extradition treaty. Like, he can just go. Like, they can't stop him. You know, he's not convicted of crime. He's not, you know, quote unquote suspected of a crime. And so if he wanted to just transfer his money to Bitcoin and leave, he could. So I think he probably went to that forest. He's probably not coming back. I don't think he, you know what I mean?
So you think he committed suicide?
I think they're going to find him in 2 days. Probably, yeah. I don't think he's coming out of that forest. But if he does, I mean, they're literally going to, I think Josh something, the detective for the Northport Police, said, we are going to ask him, hey, can you know where Gabby is now? And that's going to be it. And then they're going to drive him home.
And if but again, he doesn't have to say anything, and he could still get away with it until they find the body or her at all. He can live the rest of his life without any repercussions.
It's true. I mean, the social repercussions he's going to have to go through are pretty hardcore. Which, I mean, if he killed her, that's totally reasonable, of course. But I'm sorry, can you say that one more time? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, he can. And I mean, he's invoked his Fifth Amendment rights. So, I mean, there are some people who say, you know, you can't even ask him that question. Like, as soon as someone invokes counsel. And what's been really interesting about this, I don't know if you noticed this, a lot of people are asking, why can't he just get pulled in by the police and interrogated until he tells them? But, you know, sometimes there are prices to pay for having constitutional rights. Like, for me and you to not be falsely interrogated by the police. Guilty people also have the right, not saying he is guilty, but he might potentially be guilty. You have the right to remain silent. You have constitutional rights.
And what about if they're looking in the wrong spot? They're just going by what the parents said.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, it's like, you can even see from the detective in the videos when he talks about the search going on, it's like he could have given, you know, God forbid that he killed her. I mean, he could have dropped her body off anywhere along the entire country.
That's what I'm saying. She might never be found, and he got away with it.
I highly doubt it. I highly doubt they will. And you know, he can be prosecuted, but it's very difficult to be prosecuted without a body. But if there's evidence that she's dead, then yes, there can be, right? And that Spotify thing, I really do think that will probably become a thing in the case. I mean, people have been convicted of murder completely on circumstantial evidence before. It's possible, but I think that he's probably not going to come out of that forest, and if he does,
if he's there at all,
yeah, I mean, yeah, if he is there, you know, let's say the parents are right and he walks in there with a backpack. You know, I'm a pretty avid hiker, and I've done a lot of really deep hiking in Montana and in Idaho, and I can tell you, you don't go into a densely forested area with a backpack. You go in there with a tent. You go in there with lots of gear. You know, at the very least, they've got cougars in there, I think I saw. But if they do have alligators and stuff, I mean, could he not just get eaten by an alligator? Like
well, that's what I'm saying. If he does, you're not going to find any kind of proof of him being there at all.
No, yeah.
They'll eat up everything.
I mean, hypothetically, you could get bones, but I'm not sure if, yeah. It'd be, you know, I wonder if the parents will come out if it does come out that he's dead. I wonder if the parents will. But I do think the parents are, you know, obviously they're protecting him. I mean, it'd kind of be hard for him to come home and be like, hey, mom and dad, I can't tell you anything, but we're about to be the most infamous family in the United States of America, right now.
Yeah. I don't know. So what do you think? Do you think that there's any hope of her being alive?
No.
None at all.
Unless it's a hoax, as you mentioned. If it's a hoax, which I don't believe that to be the case whatsoever, that's the only way she's alive. Regardless.
Yeah, I don't think it's a hoax either, but I mean, that's really the only way we can hope that she still has a chance of being alive. Right?
Yeah.
So,
that would be really, I mean, obviously that it would be better if it was a hoax, right? I mean, it's better for people to be alive, have it be a hoax than have them be dead, I think. So hopefully it is a hoax. Hopefully,
and knowing what we know about the location of where the parents say he went, and knowing that there's probably just bobcats, and if he doesn't go that far, no alligators or whatever, do you think he's still alive?
I think that, and I'm not sure if I'm up to date on what animals are exactly. If it is really just bobcats, and he wants to be alive, and I think the police officer, Josh Trevor, I think it is, or something like that, the Northport Police, mentioned that, you know, he could be in danger because he's under a lot of pressure, you know, insinuating that he may, you know, commit suicide or something. But if he wants to live and it's just bobcats, he could probably live. But people don't go into the forest with just a small backpack. 3 days ago. And it's like, you know, I heard there were helicopters right over the house. Like, he's not there anymore. You know what I mean? And all of this could have been completely avoided if they had just put, you know, some random deputy to watch the front and the back of the home.
So do you think that during that body cam that they did let them go just because of the way he was acting, that he was kind of like, seemed like an okay kind of guy and things just got out of hand just like a normal relationship would once in a while?
Obviously, this is just my layman opinion, but I think it's reasonable that based on the police officer when she was talking to Gabby, and it's a little bit eerie, you know, how much he continuously tries to deflect and say, no, it's her, not me, and whatnot, until the end when he sort of, you know, to some extent wants to protect her. But when it comes to Gabby, it's like, you see the police officer is actively telling Gabby to watch what she says so he doesn't have to, you know, arrest her. So I think the police officer had empathy for Gabby. Because, I mean, if you watch the video, I mean, the only person who committed a crime at that point known was Gabby, you know, scratching his face. And so I don't think the police, you know, wanted to arrest her. But I don't think there was any basis for them to arrest him at that point. But it probably, you know, would have, you know, avoided this whole situation if they did arrest somebody at that point.
Yeah, but it's always easy to look back now and say, you know, they should have done this, they should have done that. Right? After the fact, it's much easier.
Yeah, right. I mean, they had no idea, the police officers, that this would happen. So they just try to give them a break. But yeah, sometimes it doesn't work out too well.
Tina says wildlife in Florida includes alligators, bears, mountain lions, bobcats, several poisonous snakes, etc. Tina, are you from that area, or just curious how you got that information? Because again, from a person I spoke to earlier, what's that?
She did say she is from Florida.
Oh, is she?
Earlier in the chat, yeah.
So maybe she does know more. I mean, Florida's pretty massive too.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah.
What about in your area? Did you Utah? Wasn't that?
It's one of the places they visited. Yeah, that's actually the last place she was seen alive on the 24th was in Salt Lake City. Yeah.
So whereabouts in Utah are you? Are you close to Salt Lake?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm about, I would say, 30 miles away from the capital, actually. And so, I mean, it's really eerie. You know, I think one of the reasons that people have been so engrossed in this whole thing is that, you know, if they traveled across the country and everyone's like, wow, she was right there. And now it's this huge thing, you know? And so it's like, you know, she was in Salt Lake City here. Like I could have seen her. I think that's what everyone's asking themselves, you know?
Wasn't Travis Alexander from Utah?
I'm not sure exactly who that is.
The one from Jodi Arias, you know?
No, sorry.
You don't know the Jodi Arias case? That was really, really famous. Like 4 years ago, she killed him, and I think he was a Mormon or something, which was Utah.
Yeah,
right?
there's a lot of Mormons here. We have a lot of them. It's really interesting.
Yeah, that's like the capital for the Mormons, isn't it? Utah.
Well, per capita, I mean, there are more Mormons in Utah than there are in any other place in the world. But per capita, actually, Idaho has more Mormons, so it's more dense in Idaho.
Oh, okay.
Right above. Yeah.
Yeah, the states are just massive. So.
You know, Tina just mentioned OCD. What are your thoughts about how? Oh, sorry. Let me add this. I don't know if you saw this, but one of these reporters basically had pulled on the father of Gabby and was like showing her the video of the body cam footage of his like daughter crying, and you could just tell like he was distraught, and he's like, I didn't want to see that. I don't know why you showed that to me. I can't remember exactly. I think it was ABC or something like that.
Right.
Did you see that?
No, I didn't see.
It was insane. Yeah. Do you think she's still alive? Just curious.
Again, the only way she can be alive is if this is a hoax, and as doubtful as that sounds, that's really the only hope we have. That, well, I feel that she's alive. That's the only way. How else could she be alive? I mean, it's been almost a month since she spoke to her mom, right? August 25th, was it?
Well, they think it was. Well, they don't. Basically, the last communication that I heard that they got from them was the 29th or 30th, but they don't believe that communication.
Yeah, that was a text
from her. Yeah,
but actual voice or FaceTime was 25th.
Yeah, no, it's been so long. It's been a very long time. Did you hear that the incident happened actually on September 9th? This is when the father, right before they filed the missing persons report, apparently they had some sort of altercation outside the home, and it's like highly redacted because of the investigation.
But the body cam was at what date exactly?
I think it was August 15th or something like that. It was before. It was at least 10 days before.
So about a week and a half before she actually FaceTimed her parents.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up right now and get that answer for you. 15th.
So,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't see how it's possible. I mean, I'm not like a survivalist or anything, but I mean, she would have to be insanely motivated. And I mean, I don't know how many people they have looking for her, but they already have like 50, law enforcement officers looking for him, and it's been like 2 days. So I'm gonna guess they've probably got at least a few hundred people looking for Gabby. But they have narrowed it down to 2 campsites in Grand Tetons, and they just got the cellular data from both of their phones. And I mean, if you look at the coincide, when that TikToker Miranda Baker came out? That's the day he left. Yeah, that's the day he left. When she came out and said that he got in his car and offered him $200 for a 10-minute ride.
Yeah.
That is the day that he left, according to the parents. Obviously, the parents could be lying, but I just don't see why they would do this. Why would, if he wants to escape, why wouldn't he just get on a plane? Why would you just
Again, these are all good questions that nobody has answers to.
Yeah.
And the problem is, will we ever have the answers? Like, if this guy never shows up, this will never be solved.
I don't think, I mean, obviously, I mean, if you look at it from a legal perspective, if he does come out of that forest and he decides to still plead the fifth and not say anything, unless they find some really intense physical evidence or really, really intense, more likely technological evidence, like the data, like I heard they had Verizon. And so I can tell you firsthand, being in, desolate wilderness places, you can actually still get satellite, small amounts of data. Like you can still look at your little icon on Google Maps and move and have that move. And so you're still able to get data, even if it says you have no service. So they're going to be able to track the situation down. We're going to be able to know kind of what happened, probably, maybe.
But there are some areas where the reception is just brutal, right? Because I mean, there was a guy on Twitter there, Brian, I think his name is Brian Enton, who's covering the case, and he was trying to live stream so many times and kept getting disconnected. And he said that the reception is just really, really poor there. And I mean, he's a reputable guy, so it's not like he's making this stuff up. So maybe, I don't know, like what happened to their phones?
Well, they don't know at the moment. They haven't found Gabby's phone, and to my understanding, I mean, if he was in any kind of a state of mind, those phones are gone forever. I don't think they'll ever find those phones. I mean, they're probably broken, thrown in some river in the middle of nowhere, like in Wisconsin, not Wisconsin, somewhere along the way. You know what I mean? From where the Grand Tetons to Florida. I mean, yeah, but there is still that data that pings. And so it depends when those phones were turned off. I'm going to guess they were turned off, but it depends when they were turned off for them to be able to find it. But I just find it insane that the police haven't been able to get that phone data for 8 days. I mean, at least Gabby's data. I mean, I don't know the agreements the service providers have with the police, but I'm sure Gabby's parents would have consented to get that data. And that data can tell you where she roughly was. But the FBI is actively looking right now to know who was in these campsites that they've narrowed it down to a large degree. Be able to find, if anyone saw anything. But another man has come out from Montana and said that he was in a bar with him and that he was, saying something about Republicans or something and like getting mad at them. And then he left. And so, I mean, I think from all of that, and then you got to realize, I mean, from him driving all the way back to Florida, there's going to be, I mean, he can't get there on one tank of gas, as the detective also mentioned. We're going to be able to piece this together with or without Gabby and with or without Brian. Even if neither of them are ever seen again, we're going to be able to piece this together, which hopefully they are. We're going to be.
But I mean, look at the stretch between. So how far is Grand Teton from Florida?
I think it's like, you mean drive or like mileage?
Either.
Let's see right now.
I mean, that's a long stretch.
It's far. It's like 4 days drive straight. I think.
Yeah. So I mean, that's not looking good. If this guy is not found, I mean, even if he is found, he doesn't have to speak. Chances are so bleak.
It's 35 hours and 2,300 miles. So it's really far. Like he would have had to go get at least, based on that van, maybe like 6, 7 at least tanks of gas. So I think they can piece it together with just the technological, the data from the phones. And then even if they don't find her body, and they don't find his body, if he is in fact, not with us anymore, I do believe they will be able to piece this together to some degree. Probably.
Well, even for gas, what is he? Does he all have cash, or do they not use credit cards?
I don't know specifically, but I mean, this is one of the ways they could have gotten messed up. I mean, if he was texting his parents for money, which it seems as though neither of them had specific income, and they were driving around. So I'm going to guess they were potentially loaning money from their parents. If they texted on anything and said, "Hey, Mom, something bad happened. I need money," anything like that could be used to prosecute him. And it just, you get enough of those cues, enough clues. You get enough of those data points, you know, a text here or there, or that text message from Yosemite. I've been to Yosemite, and it's insane how good the service is. Throughout almost the entire park, you can get 4 bars. Like, it's amazing. And they were nowhere near Yosemite. So you get enough of those clues circumstantially. If he does come out, they can probably charge him. And the police alluded to the fact that they might have evidence enough to arrest him.
But I mean, even the gas stations, don't they have cameras there?
Yeah, that's what I mean. They have cameras all around, and so that they'd be able to see him filling gas, doing anything sketchy. You know what I mean? Anything.
But the problem with that though too is that he drove the van back home or back to Florida. So even if they have that on cam, there's really nothing to it. I mean, okay, so you have my cam in the van. That's normal because he did drive the van back.
Right. I mean, but we don't specifically know when the phones went off or when they went on or whose phone he was using, or if he got a new phone, or if he destroyed the evidence, or if he sent a text message to his parents. All of these things mixed together. I mean, technologically, you know, there's a lot of metadata and there's a lot of things the police can find. And I think that as the time goes on, they're going to be able to piece it together as like a map to figure out exactly what roughly. They may not be able to know exactly what happened between him and Gabby, especially if Brian, you know, did kill her and then did get rid of her body. There's going to be no way to know what happened in that scenario, probably. But
well, they were saying even if they find DNA in the van, that's no big deal because it was her van anyway.
Right. And you know, and then another thing you would think is you would think that he'd be able to go to jail, right? Because he drove the van back without her. That's theft. But you know, they would argue that, you know, if you look at the body cam, you know, the body cam footage, he's being allowed to drive it. So who's to say that she didn't just get out of the car and say, hey, just go, and you can drive my van? Well, obviously it's not plausible, but it's possible. And because it's possible, it doesn't meet the legal standard to charge him with anything. But I mean, he had 10 days to get rid of any evidence in the van relating to her. I mean, there was so much time that without the technological evidence, it's impossible for them to figure this out. But I think the technological evidence will at least give us the story, even if it doesn't lead to his conviction. Do you think he'll be convicted?
No, because I mean, there's no body. Without body, how do you can't charge him?
Well, they can charge him if they can prove he tried to get rid of her body. So
but how? How do you prove that?
I mean, I mean, you could say that he was there, and then they checked into a campsite potentially. I mean, there are ways to find out where did she go. A little bit. You know, they can say if they went to that campsite and something happened to that campsite, and then he drove off in the middle of the night, and they came there. You know what I mean? If you get enough of these circumstantial clues, then the police can arrest people. But yeah, without a body, it's very unlikely he will go to jail. But it's not impossible, right? Like if me and you walk into a room and then somehow, you know, something happens and I'm the only one left in the room, just because there's no body doesn't mean that I can't get convicted. You know what I mean? Of some crime. If there was no.
So what do you? Okay, the last time she was on FaceTime was on the 24th or 25th, right?
Yeah.
Was there any news reports or anything as to how the conversation went?
They haven't given any details about that. I mean, as far as my understanding is, and my sort of view on this is that the families basically said, we want to find people who have potential clues to be able to find her. They haven't said anything too much. They've kept most of it to the vest. And I think the FBI probably wants them to do that too. Because if everyone knows what they said, you know, they can't slip up Brian in anything relating to, I mean, just the more the public knows, the worse it is for law enforcement. It's trying to convict him unless it's specifically related to finding her. Because then, you know, I can't remember the exact legal term, but there's a legal term, you know, that states that if you know something that inherently says that if you know something that you had to be in a situation to commit a crime to do that, right? That by knowing that, like imagine if someone gets killed in a certain way and the only person who knows about that is the killer, because it hasn't been released to the press. That kind of a situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The van was found where in the driveway of Brian's.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously that thing was cleaned completely. Like, there's no way there was anything in there at all that would be of any value to them, unless either that car's a little bit older, but newer cars these days, they actually have GPS trackers inside of them that track no matter where you go, and they can.
Well, what year is this van? Do you know?
That's like 2011. I think they started doing that in like 2015 or something. So
yeah,
I don't think
that would have it.
Data. And if they did, I mean, they wouldn't need anybody's help. You know what I mean? Because GPSs don't care where you are if you have overhead. If there's nothing above you, the GPS can track exactly. I'm just disappointed that, I mean, if you think about the technological capabilities we have these days, why did it take the FBI 8 days to get that data for the phones? And why are they not able to piece this together a little bit more?
So wait, so at the end of August, you said that there was like a text message or something where the parents don't even believe that it was her. They think that it might have been him, right?
No service in Yosemite is what the.
So did his phone go missing as well?
They don't. I'm sure the FBI probably knows whether that phone stopped pinging at some point. But I mean, his lawyer probably, in a roundabout way, if he already didn't do this, said, you know, do you have that phone? Might not be a good idea if you have that phone. You know what I mean? That there's an issue that if he's coming back and he's going to lawyer up, right? If they come and get a search warrant and say, where's your cell phone? We want to know right now. And you say, I don't have the cell phone. You know what I mean? And that's it. And they can search your house, they can search your car. But if he doesn't have the evidence and they can't prove that he destroyed it, then they can't access the evidence. And there's a lot of evidence on phones that isn't stored in the metadata that the FBI now has access to. But I mean, I think they probably will potentially arrest him when he steps out of there, based on the hinting of the police when it comes to the evidence they say they have.
So what if this is, and I know this is like so bizarre to even think this way, but what if, because they were both kind of a little, shall we say, messed up in the head, not 100% normal. What if she ended up doing something to him and it's really the other way around? Like, we're all talking about him being either possible killer or something. How do we know that maybe she didn't do something to him and she drove the van back? Like, where is there any proof that he was the one that drove it all the way back?
I mean, I don't see that being likely. I mean, they've been spending, you know, obviously, you know, a matter of days spending, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars probably of police resources looking for her. I'm going to guess they probably confirmed that he drove back. I mean, it's possible that maybe Gabby had an emotional outburst and attacked him, you know, and then that lawyer we talked about earlier, you know, he specifically mentioned this, that there are a lot of situations in which a lawyer would tell you not to speak to the police, and that happens to be all of them, right? Because the police can use anything to say, you know, you say against them. So I don't think that's the case at all. I think it's possible that Gabby maybe started an altercation that ended with him killing her, or maybe an accident happened, you know what I mean? And maybe he freaked out and drove home. I don't know, right? And we probably won't ever know if he killed her or if it was an accident. I mean, that's, if they're out of cell service and no one's recording, even with good cell service, I mean, how could we ever possibly know without his confession what happened to two people in the middle of nowhere? But I think
we can't even get pictures of him at a gas station filling up gas, let alone.
I think the police have that.
Okay, but they also said that he went home and that he told his parents he was going hiking or whatever. But there's no video, there's no photos of him anywhere around his house. Like, you guys got like street light cameras and all that stuff too, right?
Yeah.
So you would think that somewhere something has to be showing him somewhere around the area.
I'm going to guess there's probably, street camera footage showing him driving in. But I mean, that's in the city, you know, like they're not going to show that to the public. You know, I mean, they just don't have any reason to do that. But when it comes to, you know, him going off into the woods, I mean, maybe they do have some sort of evidence that he, you know, went there, but maybe not. I saw this one interesting thing where this guy took a picture of this guy who kind of looked like him, but with how much misinformation is around this, you know, that's the biggest thing about this. Is
that's what they're talking about in chat, and that's why I'm not even following that, because that could have been anything. That's just, I don't believe that photo at all.
It's possible. I mean, I think that's the reason why it's captured everybody, right? I mean, everyone has an opinion. Everyone wonders. But I mean, most likely, I think what happened is probably accident, murder, either one. He probably was stressed out, freaked out, and then probably decided he didn't want to go to jail, got rid of all the evidence. And then, you know, I think that by him going in there, it's more likely that he's not coming out than he is. So he probably has a lot of guilt right now. This is all allegedly, by the way. I don't know whether or not he did that. But, you know, I don't think he's coming out of that forest, and I don't think they find Gabby anywhere.
Well, it's the same thing with that couple they were talking about that got murdered, right? That lesbian couple. And then right away they say, well, no, he's not connected to that at all. So then who is connected to that one? They don't even talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, the scary thing is that, and this is the thing about serial killers in general, not to say that guy's a serial killer, but maybe, is that, you know, the way the police, and this also goes in his lawyer's statement, the way the police find people is they say you're close to them, you know, you're a significant other, you're a family member, you're a friend. Those are the people who are statistically way more likely to kill you. So that's why it's so hard for the police to find people like serial killers who some random weird guy says, today's the day I'm going to kill two, you know, lovely young women, is camping. What do? You know what I mean? If they can't match those bullets and they can't match anything else, I mean, if someone, that's the thing about society that's sort of unnerving, that if someone wanted to do you harm and get away with it, they could. They probably could. If they didn't know you. If it were just some random person, that's the scary thing. You know, especially pre-1980s, I mean, you could just drive away. And that was a really, you know, it's really scary.
So what do you think? He's alive still?
I mean, you got to think, like, is he sleeping on the ground or something in the middle of the wilderness? You know, in the middle of a swamp where there's alligators and stuff. No, I mean, I think he hiked probably for a full day, found a really beautiful place, and then, you know, decided he was probably not going to do it anymore. Hopefully that's not the case, but you know, with that lawyer's confirmation that he could just leave the country. I mean, if he wanted to escape, he could have left the country. I think basically he likely did it, and now he's having guilt, and I don't think he's coming out of that forest. And without him, we're probably not going to get a lot of closure. So I don't think he's coming out of that forest, ever. Well, he might come out, but if he comes out, he's not coming out alive, is what I mean to say.
And okay, and suppose he does come out, and he does come out alive, do you think he will speak at all? No way.
I mean, it really just depends about his mindset, right? I mean, if we're assuming he went in there because he's having a lot of guilt and he went in there and then decides not to do it, maybe. But based on his cold demeanor relating to just coming back home, not caring about the family, telling the families at all about anything, I don't think that he's going to suddenly turn over a new leaf and tell them anything. I mean, if he comes out, he wants to live his life, and he's not going to do that if he incriminates himself by telling them anything. Because if he says anything about Gabby and they ever find her, he's going to prison probably for the rest of his life. So either, I mean, this is just so sad, you know, that like, how is their family going to get closure if the only two rational options are either he doesn't come out? I mean, maybe he leaves a note, you know what I mean? Maybe he leaves a note. Maybe that's what somebody to get closure. But I mean, can you see a reason? And this is all assuming he went in there. That's just the family word. Who's to say we can, you know what I mean? They said we think he's there. So even if they know he's not there, he could be anywhere. But I just don't see why, if he wanted to escape, he wouldn't just leave the country. I mean, do you see?
Well, that would make the most sense, because again, if he's been gone for now almost 1 week, I don't think he would. Can you really survive in that kind of a place for 1 week? I mean, how much food can you have in a backpack? I don't think enough to survive a week.
Yeah, and not even to mention wildlife, or where would he sleep? Like on the ground? Because I mean, You know, even if they're just bobcats, man, I mean, like, you don't want to be sleeping on the ground. They have like venomous snakes all over that place, you know. Maybe he hiked, gets bitten, although apparently he had been there a lot before. I mean, I think they're just speculating. I don't think they know that he went there. You know, he could.
And again, yeah, the more time that goes by, there's no way you could be in there, because again, how do you survive 1 week with the amount of water you can have in a backpack anyway? You can't. It's physically impossible.
Mm. Yeah, Tina just mentioned that she's thinking of giving $10,000 to have him come to the police station and tell the attorney, where, Gabby is. But I mean, there's no way he's gonna do that. You know, I mean,
I don't think for that kind of money he's gonna do anything.
I don't think he would do it for any amount of money. I mean, I'm sure that lawyer. I looked up the average billing rate of his lawyer, Stephen Brunello. Man, it's like $600 an hour.
Well, yeah, all lawyers are expensive.
Yeah, I mean, how many hours do you think he spent talking to them about this? Probably a fair amount. So I don't think for any amount of money he does this. I mean, you have to understand, anything he says can be used against him. So either I think he decides he's going to tell everybody, but people don't do that. And especially based on his demeanor, people don't just come out and say this. You know what I mean? They don't just come out and incriminate themselves when they've acted in such a methodical manner to drive back. Do you think that when he, because by the way, he left her right before, I'm not sure the exact date, so this was right before August 24th, they left Salt Lake City and she was taken out of the hotel. They specifically, he drove back and helped his dad clear out the storage unit. And the mother is now saying, where is my daughter's things? You know what I mean?
Oh, I didn't know that.
What's going on there? You know what I mean? Why would he fly? Because you got to think about how much money that costs. And that goes to, again, like, do these people have any other sources of income? Or how are they paying for this without their parents? You know what I mean?
Do you know what they did before they went on the trip? Like what their job or occupation was?
I have no idea what. I mean, it seems to me that Brian seemed kind of like a drifter. I don't know that. Right? It's all speculation. But I did hear in the body cam footage that she used to be a nutritionist or something. So maybe she had some money. But she worked at an organic juice shop, I think, in the body cam footage when they separated them in the body cam. I don't see them having, I mean, you gotta realize they're doing this for months. You know what I mean? Unless his family has money, or someone has money and someone's giving them money, I don't see how they could even do this trip. Because I actually know people who do van life, and it's not super expensive, but you know, you don't have an extra $600-700 to fly back to Florida and then fly back again and have her stay in a hotel. You know what I mean? Like, it is a little bit expensive.
Again, I just keep going back to the fact that they say that that's where he went for the last week. I don't know how he can survive. If he's, I don't think he's there. He can't be there because there's no way he can still be alive right now for a week.
Yeah. No, I mean, either the family's lying, or, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he seemed like to be a pretty fit guy, and I've never hiked in swamp before, so I don't know what the logistics are of that or how far someone could go in there. But I've hiked 16-20 miles in a day, so I mean, over that many days, he could have probably gone pretty far in there. But I think they'll probably be searching that place for weeks, and they probably won't. They'll either find his body or he was never there.
Do you know how big the place is there?
It's 20,000 to 25,000 square acres. Although obviously he's not going to be going through any of that. I mean, there's like a couple 100-mile range around the entrance. You know what I mean? Because unless he has some sort of vehicle, you're not hiking hundreds of miles in a day.
No, you wouldn't survive. You can't make it.
Yeah, no. And then, the more tired he got, the more likely he is to get preyed upon by animals. Yeah.
Just let me interrupt you a sec. The chat's getting a little bit nasty to each other. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, so just be respectable to each other. It's all I ask. I mean, everybody's welcome here, but I don't want you guys to be bashing each other. That's not cool. Let's all keep it level-headed as much as we can. Just keep your own opinions and say what you want to say, but just be nice to each other. That's all I ask.
Yeah, that does seem well. I actually have to go right now. It's been really wonderful talking to you. And
do you have a channel on here? If you want to give a shout out, you're more than welcome to do so. You've been good.
Oh, I appreciate you. I mean, I have a channel to which that I post. I posted one video. I don't really post very much. It was like a review video, like a microphone. So I don't have anything on there. But I mean, I don't know if you want to send me a message or something. I can send you a private chat or whatever. We can talk about it again at some point when more stuff comes out. But
yeah, definitely, man. I mean, yeah, if you want to subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate that too.
Totally.
And if you want to email me, I'll let me just type in the email address.
Yeah,
or you know when you go to the About page?
Yeah.
If you just click on that, you'll see my email on there, and you could just shoot me an email, and I can add you on there and chat with you.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Have a good
night,
man.
I appreciate you. I appreciate all your comments, man.
Yeah,
have a good one, man.
Hope Gabby comes home.
Yeah, let's hope.
Have a good day.
Thanks, buddy. Later.
So that was a caller from Saturday. Let me just remove this.
You guys are calling, and you guys on the chat are just going against each other.
1 sec.
Come on, man. Peace and love. Let's keep it.
All right. So yeah, if you guys want to call in, I'll stay on for about 5 more minutes, and then I'm going to do another live stream in a couple of hours' time. So make sure to subscribe. That way you will be notified when it does become live. Probably take calls again and provide the latest updates from Florida, from outside the Laundrie's house. I believe the autopsy is happening tomorrow. So there will be more information about that as well. But yeah, we'll go back on live in a couple of hours' time. Thinking about taking calls, but we'll definitely show videos and discuss the case further at that time. So we'll leave it like that for now. I want to thank each and everybody for coming out and watching this video, listening in. Again, I hope to see you in the next stream, so you guys can give me some comments, your thoughts and opinions about what's happening here, what's still has to happen, what's going to become of Brian. For now, though, we will bid you a great afternoon, morning, or evening, wherever you may be. 24/7. Thanks again for coming along. Hopefully you will be back this afternoon. And yeah, hopefully we'll have some new information. If not, we will talk about what we know so far. All right, guys. Thanks for coming out, and gals. We'll talk in a bit. This is Trending Rabbit saying have a good one. Talk to you later.